What's going on, guys? My name is Arjun and welcome back to my channel. I wanted to make another video about GameStop because a lot of you have been asking how this is even possible. How did we get to this point? How was there more than 100% of shares sold short? Before we look back at how GameStop stock got here, let's just take a quick look at what's going on with GameStop stock today. As of this morning, the brokerages who banned buying of GameStop stock are allowing it in limited quantity. And as of the making of this video, it is up almost 50%. Let me just explain what short selling is. In short selling, your intention is to sell something you don't own at a higher price and be able to buy it back at a lower price when it comes down and replenish the shares that you've borrowed so that way you can pocket the difference. But the big risk that's associated with short selling is that the price could keep going up. So the risk associated with short selling is unlimited. Whereas the risk with a long position or buying a stock is simply the amount of money that you invested into it. A lot of you had questions about why were these short sellers forced to close their position. So to explain that, I have to tell you about something called margin. Many investors trade with borrowed cash or what is known as trading on margin. A margin account allows investors to purchase beyond the actual cash they have in their account. So, as an example, an account with 2-to-1 margin could buy $20,000 worth of investments with only $10,000 worth of cash. Something to note is that some of the pro investors could have margin up to 15 times. For borrowing this cash, a broker insists that you maintain the value of your account to be above 10,000 in this example. If the positions in your account were to fall a certain percentage below 10,000, there is what's known as a margin call, and the investor has to either put up more cash or the position will automatically be closed by the broker. A short sale is using borrowed stock and trading on margin. Any investor who shorts a stock is using a borrowed stock to do that. Thus, there is a margin requirement and they could experience a margin call, which is how short squeezes occur. So now that you understand that, let's get back to GameStop and how GameStop stock had more than 140% of its shares sold short. To make this simpler, I'm going to show you guys an example. Let's say there's a certain stock that has a total shares outstanding of 1,000 shares. It's a very limited supply stock. Investor A owns 100 shares of this stock. Investor A enters into an agreement with their broker to allow them to loan his shares to other people. Investor A gets paid some fee and they're able to call back their shares at any time. Investor B is the one who borrows those 100 shares from Investor A's broker. Investor B then enters into a short sale and sells those shares on the market. So Investor B is hoping that the price will go lower. Then Investor C is the one who buys those 100 shares. They're unaware that any borrowing has occurred, and to them, these are just like any other shares that you would buy. So Investor C is hoping that the price will go higher, and they also enter into the same agreement with their broker that Investor A did and allow those shares to be loaned again. Then Investor D borrows those 100 shares, sells them short. They also are hoping that the price will go lower so they can replenish the shares at a lower price. So now note that we have 200 shares shorted, 100 each by Investor B and Investor D, though there were only 100 shares to start with. Because there's such a limited supply of stock available, when the stock price goes up, as in the case with GameStop, Investor B and D receive a margin call. So they have to buy back their shares on the open market. What does this do? This keeps pushing the price up further. And new investors down the line who also have shorted the stock will get margin calls. This is what's happening in GameStop stock. Comment, like, and subscribe to my channel, and let's head on over to the next video.